Thanks for the confirmation, Bonnie. Yeah, I'm new to the whole thing here, trying to get everything working properly. Is my audio coming through clear? Can you hear me okay? I got a little bit of some music in the background, trying to make sure it's not too loud, or but you can still hear it. I go on Spell Table from time to time and open a lobby like this. I get some interesting responses, people asking interesting questions, so figure I'll see if I can't start streaming sessions like that. Yeah, I appreciate you checking in and confirming, though. Okay. All right, we're gonna try something here. Let's do it this way. Hey, what's up, man? Are you able to hear everything okay on the YouTube stream? Oh. Hey, what's up, Index? How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Not much. Just I open this lobby from time to time. I'm actually streaming it for the first time, seeing if I can get my setup right. You just hanging out, or do you have a question about something?
I do have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so morph.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, morph does not move at instant speed, correct?
So this is what morph is. Morph is a special action, right? So which what that means is anytime you have priority,
Correct.
you can take a morph special action, right? You activate it, but it's not considered an activated ability. So like if split second is on the stack, you can still unmorph a thing, right? Same thing for manifest. If it's a creature, you can turn it face up as a special action. Disguise, same thing.
Correct.
The actual act of unmorphing a creature does not use the stack. Nobody can respond to you turning a creature face up using morph or manifest, right? But if that has a trigger that goes on the stack. So, for example, Chrome Shell Crab, if I turn Chrome Shell Crab face up, you can't stop me from turning it face up. But now a trigger goes on the stack that says exchange control of two creatures. That goes
Correct.
on the stack and can be responded to. Yeah.
Okay, that's wonky. Wait, so you can actually stop the crab?
Yeah, because the trigger says when Chrome Shell Crab is turned face up, and triggers always start with the word when, whenever, or at. So, like when you draw a card, whenever a creature
I
dies,
mean,
at the beginning of your end
why the
step. So,
fucker
so the trigger goes onto the
in my
stack.
morph
eh,
deck?
Right, the trigger goes on the stack and can be responded to normally. Right. Yeah, but the actual
So
act of turning it
for
face up
Spurian
itself,
shapeshifter, that's one of the best ones.
that's the one that unmorphs as a copy of something else, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a trigger. That's similar to a replacement effect, like if like a clone entering the battlefield just enters as a thing, right? So unmorphing it to have it unmorph as a copy of something else, that in itself can't be responded to. You just now have a copy of something else because you unmorphed it with a special action, and then it doesn't trigger when it's turned face up. It just turns face up as a copy of something else. So if you're
Okay.
cloning something, if you're turning it face up to be a copy of something that doesn't have a trigger that would go on the stack, then it
Here's
just,
a here's
yeah,
a really fucked up card.
go ahead.
Okay. I want your personal opinion on this one.
Is it the pickles combo?
What's up?
Is it
No,
the
no,
pick?
no. This
Oh,
is
okay.
this is this is the Ularak. This is a completely Ularak vanilla deck.
Okay.
I want this card because I want your honest opinion on this.
Okay.
Whenever I kill all colors, killing all colors. Where the fuck is that card?
Oh, you're talking about the thing that exiles everything that's at least one
All
color?
is dust.
Yeah, yeah,
I believe is the card.
yeah.
Yeah. So it destroys lands, correct?
No, because lands inherently are colorless. Even though they can produce colors by themselves, lands are inherently colorless. Now, if like let's say for example there was a
But
land that
that's
had a
the point behind the Ularak five
no
color. It
the
doesn't destroy colors.
no it destroys it you're talking about all is dust gets rid of permanents that are at least one or more colors. But what that's
Correct.
referring to is the color of the permanent, not the commander color identity.
But that's the whole. Yeah, I'm sorry,
No,
dude.
so like an island for example,
Yeah.
an
The whole
island is
point
not a
is
blue. So, for example, an island is not a blue permanent for the
yes.
purpose of anything
I
that
know
cares about blue
I know an
permanents.
island does not inherently have a blue. Yes.
Right. So, all is
Man,
dust will
look at
not
that
get rid of
move.
that land.
Huh.
Now,
Because
now
that was
let's
the
say
whole point
let's
behind
say
this fucking deck.
let's say for example the land had an activated ability that turns itself into a red creature. Now it's a red permanent and it can be affected by all its dust. But just the land by itself is not a colored permanent.
Yes, I know. But because the land itself taps for a red
Yeah,
or a white,
right.
that's what makes it, because its first ability taps
Hmm.
it for a certain color.
Right.
That's what makes dust work.
No. No. So and I think what you're doing is you're mixing up the color of an object with the commander color identity, right? So for example, um um Sisei Weatherlight Captain, right? Sisei Weatherlight Captain is a popular five color commander because she has an activated
Cisse.
ability. Huh?
I'm sorry, I do not like it.
You're not liking what?
I do not like Cisse.
Okay, but I'm just using it as an
I don't like
example, right?
Cisse.
For Sisei, for example, is a popular five color commander
No, you're good.
because Sisei's ability is all five colors, so commander color identity is five colors. But for any in-game effect that just cares about the color of the object, Sisei is a white permanent. Even though she has an
Yes,
activated ability
yes,
with all five,
yes,
she is a white person.
yes.
So the
Because she
lands,
is white. Because she's white initially.
right? But she is only white. She's not all five colors. So if something said
Correct.
target black permanent, she has black in the color identity for commander purposes,
No,
but
I
is
understand.
not a black permanent. So same thing for the lands. The lands have the ability in their text box by default to produce colored mana. So for commander color identity, they have that color. But for the purpose of anything that just cares about the color of the object, they are colorless. So all is dust
No,
will
I
not.
understand that. I,
Yeah.
I completely understand that. But the point is, like any spells played, right? So the issue is all is dust
Hmm.
goes towards the ability for anything. Well, like obviously, it's not going to get rid of Sisei for obviously controlling that mana, but the issue is it's the fact that the initial cast.
Hmm.
So, like, let's say you have something stupid like, God, I can't even think of a card now. Let me,
Okay.
like, I need any card.
Gotcha.
Anything that doesn't do. Okay, so if you have a land that initially taps for anything other than colorless as their first, then all the dust should kill it, right?
It no. No, a land, no matter lands by default, unless they give themselves a color, like they turn themselves into a colored object, lands by default are colorless objects. Period.
Okay, there we go. That's there we go. All right,
Yeah, yeah. Now,
Scriven Reef, the reef.
yeah. What? Which
So,
land? Sorry.
um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shriven Reef. That
Yeah,
is
Shivan
why
Reef.
all the lands in this deck, other than the only five basics, including a waste,
Hmm.
are the only ones included inside of the precon. That is why they did that.
Why? Why are you saying they did that? What? Because of all his dust?
Yes.
No, no.
So then, what's the goddamn point? That
The
that is
point is a
that is
lot of the
no.
things in that
That's
deck.
why they did that.
No, the point is
Because
that a lot of the things in that deck are colorless. So all is dust will most of your deck will dodge all is dust because the majority of the things in that deck are colorless. So all is dust will hurt your opponents far more than it'll ever hurt yourself. As
no,
far
it
as
never
the
it,
as
it never
far
will.
as
Win. It never kills lands. That's what you're telling me.
unless
All
unless
dust
the
will
land
never
unless
kill
the
lands.
land specifically turns itself into a colored permanent, by default, all lands are colorless. All is dust will not hit lands.
Pulse Dust is such a cool card, though.
It is. No, it'll absolutely wreck your opponent's board states because most of your opponents are not running 99% colorless things in play. Like that, they'll still get wrecked. They just won't lose all their lands like you're saying.
That is insane.
Yeah.
So all is dust, dude, does not target lands.
Right. Right. Now, actually, somebody in chat just gave an interesting exception. It doesn't. Yeah. So for example, I want you to look up Dryad Arbor, Dryad Arbor. Dryad Arbor is a creature land, right? Let me know when you got it. Oh, your video froze. Are you still there? Okay, there it goes.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Now you're good.
Yeah,
Let me know when you got Dryad Arbor pulled up.
no, I'm still here. Shit's fucking like
Yeah, I got you.
Red armor. You said.
Dryad Arbor, Arbor.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
There's three ways
Dryad
to run.
Arbor, and this is what I want to point out. Dryad Arbor is a land which most of the time is colorless, but if you look on the left side of the type line before where it says creature
Yeah, it
land,
says
all that.
land creature. It says land creature. I understand.
Right. No, but what I was saying is just to the left of that little green circle, that shows you that that is a green permanent. Even though there's no mana symbols in the upper corner or anything, that little circle on the left side of the type line tells you that is a green permanent. So that will get hit by all his dust.
Yes.
But
Understood.
if you look at any
Understood.
other land, if there's nothing in the corner for a mana symbol, and if there's no colored circle on the left side of the type line, there is no color to that object. So, like the Shivan Reef that you said, right? There's no mana symbol in the corner because it's not a
Yeah.
spell, but also there's no colored circle on the left side of the type line to indicate that it has a color. So it is a colorless object.
Um,
Yeah.
on the same on the same point. Split second for the morph deck.
Yeah. What about it?
How do you feel about that one?
Oh, I abuse split second in my morph deck all the time.
Oh,
Because
morph.
because like here's the thing. Remember I said the thing about the chrome shell crab being turned face up and you can respond to that, right?
Yeah, yep.
If I put a Croson Grip on the stack, Croson Grip has split second to destroy target artifact or enchantment. As long as Croson Grip is on the stack, nobody can activate abilities or cast spells as long as that split second is on the stack, right? So what I do is
Morph and morph.
but what I'm saying is morph is a special action. So what I'll do is I'll put Croson Grip on the stack, hold priority, then activate my morph ability to turn it face up because it's a special action. I can do that even with split second on the stack. So
Yeah.
I'll do it now. The trigger from being turned face up goes onto the stack, and you can't respond to that trigger with any spell or ability you have unless it's a mana ability.
Gotcha.
So, like, if you have a carrion feeder to sacrifice the creature I'm trying to steal, you can't sacrifice it to the carrion feeder while split second is on the stack. But if you have an Ashnod's Altar, you could sacrifice it to gain mana as a mana ability with the split second on the stack.
And then silence all abilities.
Yeah. Let's try it.
Understood.
Go ahead, take a look.
Okay, just want to understand that because honestly, there's been a whole lot of contention about Ulrich.
Yeah. So yeah, the important thing to remember when you're trying to determine all of that is the oh, and he left. All right. Well, somebody broke that lobby, so I'm gonna close it and reopen it. So here's what we'll do. There we go. Let's do it that way. Though the new Lotus, oh my goodness, that thing is, oh, that's going to get abused so much because it's not a mana ability. There's so many things that can copy it that normally wouldn't have been able to. Yeah, that's going to get abused so hard. Then why did they give you the option to put a description? I don't know. It's habit. I just do it. Yeah. Uncarth, I think I changed the audio a little bit. Can you hear me a little bit better now? Okay, cool. Glad that worked out. But yeah, no, I've seen some interesting Ashnod builds. When Ashnod first came out, I saw a bunch of them. Um, then they kind of it was one of those things where like the frequency of seeing Ashnod shot up for a while there, and then I haven't seen an Ashnod deck in months. I can't even think of the last time I saw it. Um, but there's a few commanders that I've seen like that where they were popular because people were really experimenting when it first came out, and then it just kind of I don't want to say died out after that, but I guess people found the next new shiny thing. You know, and something will come around to re spark interest in it. Some content creator somewhere will make a some content creator somewhere will make a little video like, "Hey, this combos with Ashnod," and people are like, "Oh, I want to make Ashnod again." Yes, I am using OBS right now. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a I'm not sure how long of a delay between what I'm saying and what you're hearing. So, um, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Oh, can you hear me? Okay.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing today?
Not too bad.
Good, good. You just hanging
Finally,
out, or do you have a question about something?
finally have spell table working.
Ah,
Uh, no, I'm just been trying to finally try to get a hold of someone that I could test my mic before getting kicked out every left, right, and center.
yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So I open this lobby from time to time for people to hang out. Specifically though, if you have like rules questions, people come in to ask that. And actually, just to let you know, I am streaming this for the first time on this way, so I'm trying to get that set up and make sure that's working properly. So I'm testing formats out too.
Fair enough. Where are you streaming?
Right now on YouTube. Yeah,
To the YouTubes.
to the YouTubes. Yes.
What's your channel? What's your channel called?
18 seconds. Okay. It's TSMtG. The most of the videos are labeled in response. I've working on videos based on like the rules and interactions of the game, kind of walking people through how things work in a digestible way. It's not like a bunch of flashing lights and yelling at the camera. It's trying to make it easy to understand. Hey, what's up,
Fair
Lunk?
enough.
How you
Fair
doing?
enough.
Hi,
Uh,
TSMtG, one word.
what's going on, man? Are you just hanging out, or do you have a question about something?
Hanging out.
Cool.
Finally got a cyclonic rift for this cancer of a deck.
You said for the cancer of a deck? Oh no.
Zeti.
Oh yeah, Chun-Li's in-universe version. Yeah, because the fun thing about that, I'm sure you recognize now, is that if you get that exiled, you could overload it with the attack trigger every time. Yeah.
Which is why I described her as a cancer of a deck.
Yep.
Also, this is pretty good. And one card which I didn't see in EDH Rec, which I think is pretty annoying.
What's that?
Dominating Will.
Dominating
Target
will.
player gains control of up to 3 target non-attacking creatures.
Oh yeah.
Until the, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's until end of turn, but yeah. Yeah, so basically you can give somebody else the defenders of the person you're attacking so you get better attacks, kind of stuff.
Either that, I can, if I do it with Zeti, it will be to just clear the uh, board for her to attack freely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed building the Chun-Li deck. It was definitely outside of my normal wheelhouse. Because it's like a weird spell slinger style Voltron. Like you're not just equipping, enchantments and stuff. You're using the spells to really get it was fun to build. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
I cannot find you on YouTube.
Really?
TS as in
Yeah. TS as in what I have up here, just no dots, just TSMTG. Here, hang on. Let me
one word.
So the username is TS. I guess the channel name is MTG in response.
MTG in response.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go.
that's
Okay.
why. Fair enough.
The profile picture, if y'all are old enough to know who Alf is, it's from an old show, but it's Alf dressed as
Yeah.
a wizard, so he's Gandalf. Always go for the pun. Always go for the pun.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I love
I
it and I hate it.
You love it. Yeah. No, I in my Discord, I like sometime last month, for no reason at all, I decided to share a pun with the Discord group that of a series of game actions that could happen in an actual game. So this is what I told them. I said Andrew has a rock token made by Tago Goblin Weaponsmith and equips it to his Benthic Giant, along with an illusionist bracers. He activates the ability and deals 2 damage to both an Augury Owl and a Baleful Strix. So basically, he killed 2 birds with 1 stone. It was just like I could hear their yeah, yeah. I could hear their eyes roll on that one. I
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I should leave or applaud you.
Oh, it's okay. You know Etrata the Silencer, right? So, if you don't know,
No.
Etrata the Silencer is this black and blue legendary creature that has a combat damage trigger. So she's unblockable. So she's going to get through. When she deals combat damage, you exile one of the creatures the defending player controls, and you put I think a hit counter on it. And then if that player controls at least 3 or owns at least 3 creatures in exile with hit counters, they just lose the game, right? So if you hit them 3 times and can exile creatures with hit counters on them, they lose the game after the 3rd one. But the downside is, as part of that same damage trigger, she shuffles herself into your library. Now, if you're playing that as a commander, you could just put it in the command zone, but then you have to recast it, and it costs an additional 2 mana every time you do this, right? So one of the tricks that people use to get around this is with the trigger on the stack, they will like ninjutsu in Etrata. I mean, ninjutsu in something else and put Etrata in their hand, and so yeah, they'll recast Etrata for normal mana, but the trigger still got to resolve because it wasn't reliant on shuffling Etrata. That's just part of the trigger, right? What I'd
Hmm.
also do with that, so in addition to the ninjutsu, what I would also do is I would mutate non-legendary mutates on top of Etrata to make her non-legendary, and then I would make a bunch of clones and copies of Etrata. So because it doesn't matter
Hmm.
which Etrata hits you, just that the trigger goes off, right? So so I've got that going on. I've got the mutate thing. I'm using ninjutsu nonsense. I'm making clones and copies of the non-legendary mutated versions. Now, of course, when you have a commander that just reads basically target player loses the game, they come after you. So you got to set up a board state that protects yourself. And whenever I would do that, it would take these really long turns. So I ended up calling the deck Teenage Mutant Ninja Durdles. That
I'm
was
sorry. What?
Perfect segue to show off my turtle.
what?
Perfect segue to show off my new misprinted giant turtle.
Nice.
Is that
So
an Italian?
is that literally a turtle in a half shell then? Uh? I'm so I couldn't resist that one. That was bad.
It was, but it was
Yeah.
good.
Oh man, my yeah.
Oh fuck. Have to tell you something.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm on your YouTube page.
Okay.
Subscribed and all.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Um, I'm going through your About section. Your Discord link doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't it's not I haven't been on YouTube long enough for it to be a link. Like you can't click it. Like you have
No,
to
but
have been
if I copy and paste it doesn't work.
Oh, really? I guess it must be like a expired invite or something if that's the case. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe I don't know how that
No,
works.
it is. Um,
So
I'm
it's
just letting
considered
you
an
know.
expired invite. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, there is a way to make them evergreen. Um,
Okay.
you know, just so you know.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I didn't realize it was going to do that. Appreciate the heads up on that.
Yeah, no problem. I would watch the other videos, but well, you're live streaming, so I'm not.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. Eventually, and I'm very behind. I don't want to say behind schedule because I haven't really set a schedule for myself. I probably should if I want to continue to do this. But I got sidetracked by so many things. I haven't released the next video yet. I'm behind when I want to do it. But right now I'm just kind of making videos on like how the general rules of the game work, right? Like you see the titles of them of like what are the actual steps for casting a spell? What are the actual steps and phases of a turn look like? All these things that a lot of players kind of skip past. They shortcut, and most of the time it doesn't matter, but sometimes it really does.
Sometimes
Um,
it really does. I've had this. I wouldn't call it an issue. We've had this argument of when we can respond to each other,
mhm,
with like within my own playgroup,
yeah.
because um, I had an argument with one of the fellas because
Mhm,
the way I see it is I start my main phase.
mhm,
Okay,
yeah.
so I draw, enter my main phase. I have priority, correct?
So at the beginning of each step or phase, you as the active player are the first person to have priority. Correct.
Yeah. So I have priority. Okay, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, but I have a few creatures
Mhm,
in the battlefield.
mhm. So
Okay,
just out of
and
nowhere, they want to like murder a creature or something.
exactly, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you can't do that. You have to wait till I do something. They're like, no, I can just do it whenever I want. It's called an instant. I was like, yes, but no,
Yeah.
it
Uh,
is, but
yeah.
they have to have the opportunity to do it first, correct? So
Yeah.
they have to
Show
wait. I have to
show
cast something or move into my combat phase before they get priority. Wouldn't
Yeah,
that be
so
correct?
basically by default the active player has priority and nobody can take an action unless they have priority. So while you have priority, nobody can do anything. Now that doesn't mean you get to resolve your stuff without them responding. All that means is until you take some sort of action and attempt to resolve that action. So that action could be putting a spell on the stack or putting an ability on the stack or doing something like that, right? Um
Yeah,
or that action could just be all right, I propose that we move to the next step or phase, right?
yeah,
Once you've done that, you have to pass priority for that to happen, and that's when your opponents have the opportunity to respond. But no, you're correct that they can't just respond whenever they feel like it. Like for example, a question that comes up a lot is if you have a planeswalker, if you have a planeswalker enter the battlefield, right? Do you have the opportunity to activate the planeswalker, or do they have the opportunity to cast something before you can activate the planeswalker? And the answer is if nothing triggers from that planeswalker entering. So you cast the planeswalker, once it resolved, it's in the battlefield, right? If
yeah,
nothing triggered, there's nothing to respond to. There's no priority passing. You have
yeah.
priority. You could
I've
activate it.
I've had
Now
that.
now
I've had that too.
if you have, however, what is it? Uh, and if you have anything that cares about something entering the battlefield, I can't think of the name right now. Like the one that says when you have a permanent enter, everybody else mills a card, right? If that
Hmm.
happens, then yes, when that trigger went on the stack, you don't
They
have
could
the
murder your
opportunity,
planeswalker before
right? And
before
you
you
can't
you
activate
can
it because
activate
you
it.
have to activate at sorcery speed, which you can't do with something on
Yeah,
the stack, right? Yeah.
yeah. No, that one I knew.
Hmm.
We actually had this argument too, because the way because activating planeswalker abilities is like you said, sorcery speed.
Hmm.
Um, and we had this. You see, I play a lot at my local, uh, at my LGS,
Yeah.
whereas um, the other guys don't have an LGS, or if they do, they go there very, very rarely.
Sure. Sure.
Um, so I get the opportunity to see a lot more decks than they do, and
Right.
I get to see a lot more rules being used. Yeah, not
Sure.
not
Sure.
used, but argued, for lack of a better word.
Right. Right.
Um, but that activating planeswalkers at sorcery speed is
Hmm.
actually something that we had an argument about.
Hmm.
And the other one was that, uh, because they were going to no, sorry, no, I was going to activate one of my planeswalker abilities,
Hmm.
and then as soon as I activated it, they wanted to destroy or deal damage to my planeswalker via, I can't mind if it was lightning
Sure,
bolt
sure,
or
like a shock
some,
or lightning bolt or
yeah,
something. Yeah, yeah.
something. Can't mind what it was, but basically it was going to deal X damage to my planeswalker, and it was
Right.
going to kill it.
Uh-huh.
But because I activated my planeswalker, it added the loyalty counter. And they were like,
Right.
no, because you're loyal. Their argument was that the loyalty counter is part of the
Sure. Now what they're trying to
resolve, but it's
say,
not.
it's correct. So let me help you out if it comes up, kind of how to explain it, right? So an activated ability is always formatted with cost, a colon, and effect,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So the adding the loyalty to the planeswalker is part of the cost, which happens before the effect goes on the stack. So before they have an opportunity to respond, that loyalty ability is on it. Right. So like if they're trying to bolt it for 3, but your cost brought it up to 4, the bolt won't kill it. Right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, that has happened to me numerous amount of times.
Mhm.
One of those big things was I ended up winning a game one day
Mhm.
because of Chatterfang's activated ability. It's black
Sack
sacrifice X
squirrels and
squirrels.
yeah, yeah.
Something else gets buffed. Um, I did that,
Mhm.
but my brother was playing with me at the time. He was like,
Mhm.
Well, no, I'm just going to kill your squirrels first, so that
Right. Hey, what's up,
you
Rams? I see you there.
you
But
don't
go
get
ahead. Yeah.
the trigger." And I'm like,
Sorry, what?
Oh, I was just saying, hey, I see you there. Don't think you're being ignored.
No. You're uh, in a game, so I was just getting ready.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right, but go ahead. What were you saying about your brother?
he was arguing with me that exact thing that um,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
I
and that's
sacrificed my all my squirrels, and it's like I can't mind if I had like blood artist or some stupid stuff like that
mm,
on the battlefield, and he was like, "Well, I'm I'm gonna kill one of your squirrels just so I can do something else and try and kill you
right.
before you kill me." But like,
But you
no,
had already sacked him to the effect,
yeah,
yeah, or
it's
to
like
to the
all
cost, yeah.
yeah. So yes, you can do it to that, but all my squirrels are already dead. You can't stop that.
Right. Right. And that's where a lot of players have a misunderstanding of how things work. And again, most of the time if they're not being interacted with, it usually doesn't matter, but there are situations where it absolutely does. That's why like if you ever see a lobby on Spell Table that just says not a game, chatting, answering rules questions, it's usually me. There's other people that do it as well, but if I have some spare time, I like opening the lobby to help clarify some things that would otherwise grind a game to a screeching halt for 25 minutes while people argue over it. um Plus also the other reason I do it is because so a few years back, I went through the rules advisor certification through Judge Academy back when Judge Academy was a thing. It's
Ah,
basically
yes.
it was like one step below the actual judge certification, and the only reason I didn't go for the judge stuff is because there was like monthly payments involved to keep that certification, and of course, you would still get to like, you know. Run events and get promos and stuff, but I wasn't going to be running events, so I wasn't going to pay money to not benefit. But anyway,
Yeah.
but going through all the comprehensive rules and the certification and the testing and all that, I learned so much. Like I thought I knew a lot because I've been playing since the 90s. I thought I already knew a lot. Oh my goodness, there is so much. Like get me going up for like a 5-hour conversation about layers. You know what I'm saying? And so, but here's the thing:
Layers
have
is just
having
nightmare.
having a better understanding of how the rules work has also allowed me, like, opened my eyes to so many deck building and play pattern possibilities that it has allowed me to do really dumb things to my friends. And so I want to empower other people to do dumb things to their friends. You know, so
Mm.
so like my favorite example that I give is one of my strongest. I've got some decks that range from like finely tuned war crimes all the way down to just like, here's a funny thing that shouldn't work. Can I make it work? But one of my stronger decks is a mono green deck in which I can clone anything on the battlefield.
Oh, cool. That sounds really cool.
A mono green clone, right? And all I need is 2 cards to make it work. And one of the 2 is interchangeable with another one depending on how I want it to work specifically. But let me find the cards here. Hang on.
So my little sweet commander is Attacker World Render.
Yeah. What you got going on with the Tarka?
Not much. Still trying to learn how to play her the best way.
Mhm.
It's pretty much the precon.
Which is still solid. I've seen some people play that precon out of the box, and I mean, Gruul aggro dragons,
But
go.
I have taken 2 cards out of them and put Ryushi the Fallen Star.
Yep.
In it, and what's it
We're using
called?
the Fallen Star. Hang on.
Whenever she dies, it deals 5. She deals 5 damage to every creature without flying.
Right. Okay, I was thinking of a different. Okay. Yep, deals 5 damage to each creature without fly. Yep, that's a solid one.
And that was instead of Dragon Mage Menair.
Mm.
And then I put. It was. No, that was Clan Defense. That was not the one I was looking for. I was looking for.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah, I know, right? So here, real quick, while he's looking for that, let me show you because I found the cards I was in the deck that I was looking for the mono green clone.
Yeah.
So this is what I do, right? So the first one is an aura, and I'm going to show you something about that in a second. But also the commanders that I run for that are Galanra and Kadama. So my favorite way to get this aura out is with the Kadama trigger that basically says when I have a permanent enter the battlefield, I can take a permanent from my hand with equal or lesser mana value, just put it straight into play, right? If you're putting an aura into play without casting it, you're not targeting anything. So I can get this in attached to something without worrying about ward, shroud, or hexproof because it's not targeting, right? But so Song of the Dryads is an aura that turns the enchanted permanent into a forest. Sorry?
Song of the Dryads, one of my favorites.
Oh yeah. So Song of the Dryads turns the thing into a land, right? So cool. It's now a land. So like your scary commander or your planeswalker that's been a problem or this artifact that's doing whatever it is, as long as it doesn't straight up have protection from green or from enchantments, I get to put this on whatever, especially if I'm doing it with Kadama that cheats in so I get around the targeting issue of like shroud hexproof and ward, right? Cool. So I put this on your commander, right? Your commander's a forest. I'm gonna play land for turn. I'm gonna play this Vasuva, which will come in as a copy of that quote land. Except this doesn't modify any of the copyable characteristics, so I just have a straight up copy of your thing.
Yes.
And because it's entering as a copy, I get any enter the battlefield triggers or replacement effects that are relevant. So, like if I put this on a planeswalker, this comes in with the relevant number of loyalty counters.
Can you see the last play?
That's just dirty.
I can also do it with Thespian Stage, but I won't get enter the battlefield or entering replacement effects. So I'm a little more limited, but I can still just do that. Sorry, can I see what now?
If you see that the last card was played, I just think I put in the card. It's Calfwell.
It's which card? I'm sorry.
Calufwell. K-L-A-U-T-O. I find it.
It's all right.
Hey,
yeah, what's up?
I have a question.
Go for it.
This is the magic equivalence of asking if a tree falls in the wood and nobody hears it. Did it really happen? It's philosophical more than anything.
Did it make a sound? Yeah.
Okay. There's a bunch of cards that says something gains a creature type in addition to its other types.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's, for the sake of argument, imagine this card is a bird in addition to its other types.
Okay.
Um, is there in the rules of Magic a rule of some sort that cleans up redundant information?
So, like, if it was already a bird and it became a bird in addition to
Yes.
its other types, type stuff.
Yes. Is it a
Not.
bird? Oh,
Yeah. No. No. So, a technically, yeah, but it doesn't do anything.
mm,
Like it'll technically be, you know, it can have types added to it. It just doesn't do anything. There's no.
yes.
Yeah, but it could be a bird, sure. Like that's whatever. Yeah, yeah. So basically, like something can have the base. So the way the layers work, right? Are you familiar with layers at all?
Tangentially.
Yeah. So layers work in 7 layers, and the 7th layer has a bunch of sub layers to it. I'm not going to go through every single layer to go into detail, but I just want to show you that the layers exist. So the way it works is there's the printed characteristics of the card, right, or the object if it's a token or something like that, right? Whatever it was created as. That's just the base thing. Layer 1 is regarding copyable characteristics. So, like if something comes in as a clone of something else, what it became is in layer 1, right? Even though that's not what's printed on the card. Or if something is copying something else, it picks up what's printed on the card plus the copyable characteristics, but nothing else, right? So, like if I have an equipment on my creature that gives it a +2/+2 bonus, and you copy that creature, you don't copy the +2/+2 bonus because that's in a much
Yeah.
later layer than what would be picked up on the copy, right? Again, I'm not going to go through every single one, but I'm just kind of demonstrating how they work. Layer 4 is the one you're asking about, which is the type changing layer. It becomes this thing, right? This creature type, this card type, this subtype, this super type, that's all in layer 4. Now, what happens is if the effect says, if it doesn't say in addition to, then it removes every other type of that type, right? So if it says, you know, target permanent becomes an artifact, but doesn't say in addition to its other types, and it was a creature, it's no longer a creature, right? But if it was legendary, it keeps legendary because that's a super type. So anyway, so that's a type thing. But if it says, like you said, target creature becomes a bird in addition to its other types, and it was a
Like
human,
Scarab God.
now it's a human bird, right? So it'll add to that type. So same thing. So if all you're doing is adding to it without removing other types, then yeah, it can have multiple instances of the same thing. It's just that it doesn't matter. So for narrative purposes, yes, you could make it more human than human, so to speak, right? Like it could be a human that you make a human in addition to its other types, and then put an equipment on it that makes it a human in addition to its other types, and then so yeah, it suddenly becomes human 4 different ways, but it's still just a human. Yeah. Oh, layers are crazy. Layers are wild. The example, one of the examples I like to give, um, just to kind of demonstrate a weird thing, and then I'm gonna probably get heading out soon because this it's getting late for me. I got some stuff I got to do. I was just testing out my stream. I didn't expect it to go this long, but let's say for example, you have Kudo, right? Kudo, King Among Bears. Kudo says that all the other creatures are bears, right? Also says that they are two twos, right? So in layer 7B, which is the 7 is the power toughness layer, and then there's different ways power and toughness can be modified. Layer 7B is something that sets a power and toughness. So in layer 4, all objects are bears, or all creatures are bears, rather. Excuse me. In layer 7B, they are now two twos. Okay. Let's put an enchantment on Kudo. Let's put that Song of the Dryads on Kudo. Okay. So Song of the Dryads just says the enchanted permanent is a forest, right? Which is a layer 4 change. So if you notice, a lot of things that would change something and would like make it lose abilities specifically say and loses all abilities, right? So like a Imprison in the Moon, very similar to Song of the Dryads, turns the creature into a land, gives it the ability to tap for colorless mana, and also it loses all abilities, right? All other abilities. Song of the Dryads doesn't have to say that. The game knows that by gaining a basic land type, it has the ability to tap for green mana. The effect doesn't have to say and gains the ability to tap for green mana. So the game just knows this. But again, as we said before, because it doesn't say in addition to its other types, like a Shia Soul of the Wild will turn creatures into forests in addition to their other types, so it doesn't remove anything. Song of the Dryads doesn't say that. So it inherently loses all of its abilities and types and everything it had and is just a forest, right? All of its types go away, and by being a forest, the game knows that all it can do is tap for green mana. So it doesn't have to say and loses all abilities. So
Hmm.
because it loses its abilities here in layer 4 at the same time that it would be turning everything into bears, it doesn't get to turn everything into bears, right? So all of Kudo's effects are just turned off because it is a forest. So it doesn't turn things into bears. It doesn't make them tutus. Okay,
Yeah.
but let's change it. Instead of Song of the Dryads, let's put Imprison in the Moon onto Kudo. Imprison in the Moon says the enchanted
I will
thing.
come off because I'm lost right now in this.
No, yeah, this is weird. This is like a weird thing that may never happen, but kind of could. Imprison in the Moon says that Kudo is a says what put on Kudo says it's a land. And then in layer 6, which is the ability layer, it gains the ability to tap for colorless mana and loses all other abilities. Okay. Oh, that's gonna break the lobby, so I'm gonna kick him when he left out. That's fine though. But anyway, so it loses all other abilities and gains the ability to tap for colorless mana. So now here's what happens when the game goes through the layers. When it gets to layer 4, it sees that Kudo became a land, but just by becoming a land does not inherently remove abilities. So Kudo gets to make everything bears because currently Kudo still has the ability to make them bears. Okay? So now we get down to layer 6. This is where Kudo loses his abilities and gains the ability to tap for mana. Okay, no problem. The game does not go back and fix this. So Kudo still made everything bears. Now here's the part that, and most people get this. Most people can understand, oh, okay, if they're understanding the layers, cool. This is what messes with most people. When we get down to layer 7B, where Kudo is trying to make everything into a 2/2,
No longer
Kudo has
gets that.
already lost his abilities, so most people say, oh, he shouldn't get to make everything a 2/2. But because Kudo got to apply in layer 4, he continues to apply everywhere else that he would. So even though he lost abilities by this point, he still gets to make everything a 2/2. If he didn't say that he turned them into bears, he would lose abilities before this and wouldn't get to make everything a 2/2.
Yeah,
But
because
because
that
he got to do
ability
this,
is part of is one whole thing.
yep,
If it was two different abilities, if it
uh-huh.
was it because they are bears, and then in a different text in a different line they became tutus, then it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Like I think let me double check a card here. Excuse me. Yeah, so like Maha its Feathers Knight for example, creatures your opponents control have base toughness 1. Right? So that's all it does as far as in this sense, right? So if it lost abilities before it got to 7B, then it wouldn't get to do that because it didn't do anything earlier than that.
Yeah.
Right. So, but Kudo made things bears, so it gets to make everything a 2/2, even if it would
Yep.
lose abilities partway through. Yeah, it's wild. I the
It's for all intents and purposes is Kudo got to put his abilities. I'm gonna say the stack, but you know that's not what I mean.
into
It,
motion, into effect,
yeah,
whatever you want to.
it
Yeah,
got it basically it got the ball rolling. It's going to get affected.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it like it it threw the ball. It's going to hit something. It's just something else has now turned everything else off,
Yeah.
which is which is this whole layers I've been trying to get the hang of for a while
Hmm.
now. I suppose the good thing is that I don't have that many issues with messing about with other people's abilities
Hmm.
yet.
Yeah, in my
Yeah.
experience, the layers rarely matter in like I mean they obviously affect the game,
Hmm.
but they're in the background.
Well, the effect of layers that usually matters the most when it does matter is in reference to timestamps, right? So, like
Yeah.
for example,
Mhm.
if a timestamp, we refer to it when two continuous effects are in the same layer and they conflict with each other. Right. So like if one thing is turning your creature from green to blue and another thing is turning your creature from an elf to a human, they're not conflicting. It does not matter which one happened first, right? But the conflicting comes from, let's say I have a creature with flying and then you play an effect that makes my creature lose all abilities, it loses flying, but then I put an equipment on it that gives it flying. Right. So now they're conflicting. I got a thing that says it had flying. I got a thing that says it loses all abilities, which includes that flying. And I got a thing that says it gains flying. So which one takes precedence, right? It's whichever is the most recent effect is the one that takes precedence. So, in that instance, if I equipped it with something that gave it flying after it lost abilities, it would regain flying, as long as something doesn't specifically say it cannot gain flying. Right. So if you put a Colossus hammer on something, it loses flying, but it doesn't say it can't gain flying. And then you put what, winged boots or something on it to give it flying. Sure, now it has flying. No problem. Right. But if your opponent has a archetype of imagination in play that makes it lose flying and it cannot gain flying, now it doesn't matter. Timestamp doesn't matter, right? That supersedes it. Um, there's interesting ones like for example, um, oh, Bellow Bard of the Brambles, right? Bellow
Oh
Bard of the
God, not
Brambles.
this thing again.
No, no, no. Here's one that messed with a lot of people when they started to see this interaction, right? So Bellow Bard of the Brambles says on your turn, your artifacts and enchantments with mana value 4 or greater are 4/4 elemental creatures, and then insert rest of abilities here. I'm not going to get into all that. The important thing is that it turns them into 4/4 creatures, right? As long as they're not auras or equipments. But anyway, um, the then Duskmorn came around and brought out these enduring creatures, right? The ones that are creatures when they first come in, and then when they die, they come back as enchantments that are
Yep.
non-creature enchantments. But it specifically has its own ability off that trigger, when it brings it back in, that says it is not a creature. So that is a separate effect that is happening in layer 6, or sorry, layer 4, the type ability saying not a creature, right? Bellow
Yep.
is trying to turn it into a creature. So now it's a matter of which one applies first. So the
Bellow.
argument, well, it depends. It depends which one was in play first. So if Bellow was in play first, and then that enduring creature dies and comes back, in layer 4, it has Bellow saying you're a creature, and then it has its own ability saying I'm not a creature. Because it's the more recent thing to come in, it is not a creature.
Yep.
That wins. Now, here's the question that comes up. People say, okay, well, when the turn is over, Bellows stopped applying, right? Bellows stopped making it a creature. So when the turn comes back around, Bellows'
It doesn't
effect
matter.
is the newer effect. The problem
No.
is, and that's what I'm saying. I'm just stating the argument that a lot of people make. They're
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
it,
yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah.
And so the what they don't understand is that Bellows' ability always existed. It was just turned off for a while.
Yeah.
It just wasn't applied, but it still existed. So that's the thing that has the earlier timestamp, so it doesn't suddenly make things. Now if Bello leaves and comes back, yes, it has the newer timestamp, but while it was in play, we look at when it came into play and its ability started taking effect. not whether or not that effect got turned off or coming back online.
How about this? If for example you say you have enduring courage,
Yeah.
um, and it dies, it comes back. It's not a creature. You cast Bellow. It becomes a creature because of Bellow.
Yep.
And then it dies again.
Yeah. It can come back as it
Then
comes back
it
as a
come
non-creature.
back as a non-creature.
Yeah, because it just cares that it was a creature when it died. Yeah.
Yeah, that's oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're giving me stupid ideas.
Oh, I told you. Look, I told you the understanding the rules has allowed me to do dumb things. I want to empower people to do dumb things. That's exactly. I love it.
Look, I've only been playing Magic about 2 years, and
Mm-hmm.
you see, as soon as I start playing with any uh, decks that seem to do the same thing over and over again, I'm instantly bored.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
so anything that starts letting me do real weird dumb shit is my straight go-to. It's like, yes, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Scarab God deck that I decided to um, limit myself to having one creature, which is Scarab God. And I don't mill people, so it takes me usually 5 turns, depending on card
Mm-hmm.
draw, um, to get going. But once I get going, I have so many mana rocks and so much control that it's just G- send me your creatures, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please. I love it. Let me give me your creature so I can demolish the shit out
Yeah.
of you.
Gotcha.
And then I love going up against like any creature heavy deck because it's
Mm-hmm.
just so much fun.
Yeah.
Uh, I've many the times I've ended up killing my brother with his own poison deck against him
Right.
Mm.
just because. It's like,
Sure.
well, you're leaving infected creatures in your graveyard. Why?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I love. Yeah. If I love finding ways to kill somebody who's been playing with infect with their own infect. You know.
Yeah,
Like
like
I. Okay, I gotta show you this. I gotta show you this. This is just. This was so dumb when it happened. So I have a slime against humanity deck. Okay. Now,
right.
my commander for my slime against humanity deck, however, is Essex Fractal Bloom. So that when I play my slime against humanity, I get a instead of a slime, I get a copy of the best creature in play, except mine's better because it'll have the 1/1 counters, right? Because
Okay.
that's how
Yeah.
the replacement effect works. Okay.
Mm.
Now, this is one or more. So if I'm making more than one token with the same effect, all of them will come in as a copy of whatever I'm choosing, right? So, oh yeah, no, this, hold on. Hold on. I gotta show you something. Where's the card? Here it is. Azuri's Predation. Make a
Oh.
make a 4/4 beast for every other creature your opponents control, and then they fight each other. But if these are the first tokens I'm making during my turn, I can have them come in as whatever I want, right? Somebody had just played a Blightsteel Colossus. So for every creature my opponents controlled, I made a Blightsteel Colossus and they fought each other.
Oh,
And the guy was
wow.
like, "That's some BS." I'm like, "Dude, you introduced the Blightsteel to the game. I I'm sorry. You introduced it. Don't get mad at me because I Blightsteeled better than you. Like, don't,
I
It's like
mean,
this is your fault.
yeah, you made me do this. Look what you made me do." Well, hey y'all,
argumentatively,
I
he's
I
not
do have
wrong.
to get going. I do have to get going. Let me do this. It's been good talking to y'all. I hope to be able to see you or help you out, answer questions, or if we just share dumb ideas to mess with friends and whatever. Um, I know you said the link in the YouTube didn't work. Let me give you my Discord name. And if you just want to shoot me a message saying that you saw me here on Spells, whatever, I'll know who it is, and I'll invite you to the Discord if you'd like. Um, it's just all one word, lowercase, Tiger Storm with a Y, TYGERSTORM.
Is that the server?
No, that's my Discord name, like username. If you just want to
Mhm.
send a request there, send me a message. I'll send you a direct invite to the server. Just let me know that you know, it's not just like a random from nowhere request like you saw me here on Spell Table or whatever, you know.
This is gonna
Okay.
be really stupid, but I have never searched for anybody on Discord.
Oh, okay.
That is a first. So I don't
Huh.
actually know how to do that.
Okay. Well, you should be able to. Depending, are you on desktop or mobile?
Desktop.
Desktop. Okay, let's see. Uh, that is a good
I've
question.
I've never had to do that. That is a first. I've been on Discord for a long ass time.
Right, it's just never come up.
Not once.
That's funny. Let me
Mm.
see if I can find. That's a good question. Um, where'd you go?
I
Let's see.
wonder. I wonder is it
Uh,
sir? Not this.
no,
What
no,
the
yeah, there should
fuck?
be a thing. So when you go to at the top left-hand side where you go to like direct messages and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
There should be an option where it says like friends, online,
Fuck.
all
Find it.
pending. There's one that says add friend. Oh, are you
Gotcha.
Pac-Man? Are you Pac-Man?
Yes,
Nice.
I am.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll send you that invite. Actually, I'll just go ahead and send it now while I'm thinking about it.
That was
That was funny.
that was a new one for me. 31
Yeah.
years I've been on this earth, and holy shit.
Hey, we always learn something new, right? Every day. All right. Let's see. Pac-Man.
You don't buy any fails, so ask you on Discord as well.
No, this was just for him. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. All right. I sent you the thing.
Okay.
Ah, sweet. Thank you.
No, yeah, you're welcome to send a request as well. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, good luck with whatever else you're going to do today,
Yep.
both of you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta stop procrastinating. I gotta do some things that I need to get done.
It's work. Damn it.
Well,
Fuck.
it looks like I at least got confirmation that the stream worked properly, so that's good. Do that.
Yeah, no,
do-
it works good.
Good.
Well, to be fair, I've been listening on Spell Table.
Well,
but-
sure. I
Yeah.
had somebody in chat telling me about the audio. It was low at first. I turned it up. They said it sounded much better. So.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but it's good. Well, hopefully I'll catch you on YouTube, on lives and stuff. I gotta set up a thingamajig to warn me whenever you're coming on.
Sounds good. All right,
I
y'all.
will.
Well,
I'll see you soon.
thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch y'all later.
See you
Bye-bye.
later.
All right, let's turn this off. Anybody out there watching that did not say anything, that's fine. Thanks for hanging out. Like I said, this was just a test. Looks like we got it working, so hopefully we'll get to do this more. All right, take care.